He gripped my hand so tight, and with his last breath, he begged me to tell his wife he loved her. I stood face to face with her, and when I told her, she collapsed into my arms. This isn't just a story about tragedy, it's about love, humanity, and the weight of carrying someone's final words. If stories of raw emotion, karma, and unforgettable human moments give you chills, make sure to subscribe, and stick with me, because what happened that night is something I'll never forget. It was just another quiet evening, then I heard it. The screech of tires, the metallic crunch, and then silence. When I ran outside, the entire street seemed to already be gathering. Neighbors rushed out in slippers, some still clutching their phones, others barefoot. I could smell the burnt rubber hanging in the air, and there it was. A mangled motorcycle on the pavement. A man lay on the ground, twisted, broken. He had sped around the corner too fast and collided with an oncoming vehicle. His leg bent unnaturally, his chest barely rose. His breathing was jagged, labored, like every inhale could be his last. People were shouting, someone yelling for help, another fumbling with their phone for 911. The chaos was deafening, but when I got close, everything went quiet. All I could see was him. At first, he was unconscious, then his eyes fluttered open. Terror, pure, unfiltered terror. I knelt down, but I had no idea what to do. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't a hero. I was just there. Thankfully, a neighbor, an IQ nurse, arrived. She cradled his head to keep his neck straight. Her husband pressed on his chest, checking for bleeding, and me. I did the only thing I could. I held his hand. His grip was weak, at first trembling. Then his lips parted, and in between shallow, rattling breaths, he whispered, "I'm scared, it hurts so much." I squeezed his hand and told him to breathe, to stay with me. Then his voice cracked barely. Audible, he forced out, "Tell my wife, tell her I love her." My chest tightened, his eyes locked on mine, pleading, and then he whispered his name. Chris. I told him it was okay, that he wasn't alone, that I would tell her. The paramedics finally arrived. Relief washed over me. Help was here. He'd be okay now, right? I told him I was handing him over to them, but as they leaned in, his eyes went wide. He panicked. His hand shot up, gripping mine with a strength I didn't think he had. "Left, I'm scared." He cried out. His voice cracked with desperation, and then chaos again. The medics shouted orders, compressors pumped against his chest. I stepped back, frozen, watching life slip away, and then silence. They stopped. He was gone. I walked home in a daze, but I couldn't escape what happened, because every time I passed that spot, the twisted pavement where he took his last breath, it hit me all over again. The next day, I passed it again and again, until finally, something made me stop. People were there, taking pictures, cleaning up. My stomach dropped. I pulled over and asked, "Are you investigators?" The man shook his head. His voice cracked. "No, my son died here last night, Chris's father." And then I saw her sitting on the tailgate of a truck, her face hollow, her body trembling. His wife. Woman Chris loved more than anything. The woman he begged me to find. I didn't think. I just walked up. The moment I said I was there with him, her eyes filled with tears. She lunged forward, wrapping me in a desperate hug, like I was the last lifeline she had left her. Knees buckled, her weight sinking into me. She crumpled. I held her up as she sobbed, and then through my own tears, I told her, "He wanted you to know he loves you. He told me to tell you that." She wailed a sound that didn't even sound human, the kind of cry that shakes the earth beneath you, but I kept holding her, because if I didn't, she would have collapsed. Right there on the road, Chris's father quietly picked up the broken pieces of the crash, the bent license plate, the shredded leather jacket, the torn t-shirt paramedics had cut away, and when I looked at him, those same ones I had seen last night, only this time they were filled with something worse than terror. They were filled with grief. It was like looking at Chris again. The resemblance was undeniable, and it hit me. This was more than just a tragedy. This was a family, carrying the weight of love and loss that would echo forever. In the end, there was no revenge against a person, The enemy was fate itself, but I realized something death may have taken Chris's body, but it didn't silence him. His last words reached his wife, his love reached her, and I was just the vessel, a stranger who happened to be there. Sometimes the most powerful form of justice isn't revenge, it's making sure love outlives tragedy, and in that moment, Chris's love did. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share your thoughts below. What would you do if you were the one trusted with a stranger's final words? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that stay with you long after they're told.